I'm doing something slightly different this weekend. I'm going into an area that forestry suddenly decided to annex in Tucker's Knob. About halfway through the logging. This is on the eastern boundary. It's an annexation of about 1.5 hectares, and I'm going in there to see what kind of forest there is. The historical aerial photography shows that there is some really nice old growth forest in the top half. There's been some operations along the border here in the 90s, and I'm just going to check out what's in there, as I'm concerned that forestry, by annexing this, is both encroaching on neighbours' properties but is also going to impact the high conservation values of this forest area. I'm just on the boundary of a polygon we've already mapped and identified. This is remnant native forest within the plantation area, so called, and it's really lovely forest. There's some sizable tallow woods, and there's a range of rainforest trees, more tallow woods. This is really nice, and I'm now going to head down into the annexed area, and within just a matter of meters we come across our first enormous old growth tallow wood. Here it is. A significant habitat tree, an original forest tree, and just again to give you an idea of size, this whole area is really significant koala habitat. I'm on the western boundary of the annexed area, and I'm looking into the plantation. How do we know it's a plantation? Pretty crappy trees and lots of lantana. And as soon as we come back into the annexed area, we move back into the original forest. This is another really large tallow wood, and no lantana. Here it's quite obvious that this is the edge of the historical plantation establishment. Here's the fence. Here's a historical clearing, and then we're back in nice native forest. And really, the issue here is, if forestry established this plantation back in the 1990s on the basis of this boundary, understanding that this was forestry's land, what right does it have now to encroach on existing properties who bought their land understanding where the plantation was located, and now only to find that forestry's decided to redraw the boundary? That was, in a sense, an obvious rhetorical question, because the answer is the plantation is not that great, and the natural secondary forest here is in really good condition and packed full of natural native forest. And the real reason why forestry wants to make this land grab is because it wants to use the pretext of a plantation boundary realignment to come in and take trees like this one and this one. They're after the logs. Check this out. Really nice forest. Really, really important koala habitat. Tallow wood, and here, look at the size of this casuarina. I'll just put my hat down to give you scale. This is a really big old tree. Look at that bird's nest. Oh, not there. Sorry. Staghorn. A mini habitat on a habitat. And look at this. These big trees. This is all now potentially state forest. And here we are at the southernmost end of the land grab. Forestry's taped it off. And you can see exactly what they have planned. Here's the existing fence. This is the plantation boundary road. This is the neighbouring property. It has its own historical boundary road, but of course, right in the middle, between it all, is a strip of native forest that goes all the way up to here, with a creek crossing here, large trees here, large trees here. A land grab.